Well, for our next presentation, we have Dolly Varden Silver, the CEO, Shawn Khunkhun. He has 15 years experience in exploration and development. Actually, he just corrected me. It's 18 years. I had written down 15 years. But Dolly is exploring a huge silver and gold land package in the Golden Triangle of British Columbia. And welcome to the stage, Shawn.
So again, I want to thank everybody for your time and this opportunity to present. I think the first thing I should do is share with you a vision. And the vision here was 2 years ago, I took over as CEO of the company. And 2 years ago, this was a company that was valued at $20 million. It was trading at 24.5 cents a share. And the company had 44 million ounces of silver in the ground. So when I sat down with a team of geologists, with mining engineers, capital markets professionals, the strategy was, let's build a big silver company. Let's build a top 10 silver equity. And my thinking was, and as Jim said, I've been in the industry for 18 years, I thought it was time to get some silver exposure. And what we have here is we've got something that's special, that's high grade, and I'm convinced will be bought by a major. So I will be making some forward-looking statements. So when I took over, the 4 deposits in the southern part of the property, hard to see from there, but we've got a total of 7 deposits. So what I inherited was the 44 million ounces that are in the southern part of the property. What I've done with this company in the last 2 years is I've raised $45 million. I've acquired 1 million ounces of gold and 18 million ounces of silver. I've grown the market cap from 20 million. We're a $160 million company today. And we've got a mineral inventory that has grown exponentially. The stock trades really well. It's performed really well. I think if you look at the GDXJ or the GDXG, these are ETFs that track junior stocks. They're flat in the last 2 years, whereas our share price has appreciated by about 300%. So we've done all this at a time where our peers are not growing their companies. And so if we can do this at this time, what can we do if we get into a bull market? So I'm very confident, and again, it's because of the nature of this asset. It's because of where it is. It's because of the grade. Most of my peers are in places like Bolivia or Argentina, which are not as desirable as Canada. That's where the asset's located. It's a great team. I won't go into too many details here other than saying this is a group, like if you look at my board, Darren Devine started K92. $2 million to $2 billion. Rob McLeod, who's an exploration geologist who's actually here at the conference, has sold 4 companies to majors, Lithium X, Underworld, and others. Tim Clark, Michael Henriksen are representatives from Fury. Tim's a banker from Boston, has got some great relationships with some of the biggest CEOs and biggest fund managers in the business. Michael Henriksen, ex-Newmont geologist. I can go on and on. This is a top quality team. And this is a team that's had a lot of success, that's raised a lot of monies, that have taken a lot of mines into production. And that's why Dolly's been successful, and it's why I'm convinced that Dolly will be sold or will develop. We've got a very strong cash position. We have 25 million in the bank. We have no debt. I can get on a conference call with 7 shareholders that represent 85% of the company. So we have 2 corporates. One of them is Hecla. So Hecla is America's largest silver producer. They've been producing precious metals for 130 years. One of the things that attracted me to Dolly Varden to take over as CEO 2 years ago was that Hecla made a hostile takeover attempt of the company. And so they've invested, since I've been running the company, about $10 million. And I'm convinced that if we continue to advance the project the way we are, a company like Hecla or Hecla itself will buy the company. I'm a numbers guy, so one of the metrics I look at here is the enterprise value per ounce. So this is a measure of what are our silver ounces in the ground trading at. And when I took over the company, we were trading at about 37.5 cents an ounce in the ground. We've obviously grown the number of ounces we had, but we're now trading at 80 cents an ounce in the ground. Now in a bull market, a silver stock on average, and this is taking the Argentinas, the Bolivias, the less desirable jurisdictions, a silver ounce will trade at $3.30 an ounce in the ground. a safe jurisdiction ounce like this could trade a lot higher. And so the opportunity here for investors is that we're giving you exposure to 138 million ounces of silver in the ground, a high grade, safe jurisdiction with lots of opportunities to grow. We've got the team, we've got the treasury, we've got the support of shareholders. I'm a director of the BC Regional Mining Alliance. This is an organization, this is a group that was put together to promote that BC is open for business. So I work together with the government, the Deputy Minister of Mines, Peter Robb, and our Nisga'a partners, our First Nations partners, and we go all around the world telling everybody that BC is open for business, and this is paid for by the BC government. Now, what the BC government has done is they've spent approximately $7 billion on making my life a lot easier. They've brought in roads, they've brought in power, they've upgraded deep water seaports. They're making it easier for companies like mine to advance. If you look at the Golden Triangle, so you've got a triangle map here on the left-hand side. This is a very well-known area. It's one of the richest areas in the world. If I drew a circle around the middle of the Golden Triangle, this 20-kilometer radius, it's the richest 20 kilometers on the planet. This is where the Ksm Deposit is. It's a 40 million ounce gold project. This is where Brucejack is. We've seen $5 billion worth of M&A activity in this area. So this is where majors want to be. This is where Newmont is. This is where Newcrest is. Yamana's invested here. I've mentioned Hecla. You've even got Teck in the northern part of the Golden Triangle. So it's a great area. It's a high-grade area, and it's an area that's seen a lot of activity on the takeover side. If we zoom into Dolly Varden, we've got tremendous infrastructure. We've got a road, and I think the next slide really highlights the infrastructure well. So we've got a road from the project to Tidewater. We can tie into the power grid. ESG is a big buzzword in the industry, and we cover every single box in terms of low-cost power, great governance, great Indigenous relations, and again, this highlights power. It highlights all the infrastructure. So high level, what are some of the takeaways from the story here? You've got a company with a large resource, you've got a company with a large land package and room for growth, and you've got a company that's been a leader in the space. So we can do other regional consolidation. Again, our vision 2 years ago hasn't changed. Our big ambition is, can we get 1 billion ounces of silver in inventory? When we started at 44, my first mission was I was on a path to 100 million ounces. We've exceeded that goal by 40%. And again, could we grow this project to 1 billion ounces on this land package? If we look at some of the other mines in the area, you look at Eskay Creek, they produce 200 million ounces of silver at 2,200 grams per ton, not taking into account any of the gold they produced or still have in resource. So we have that potential, but if we can't do it organically, we will grow through acquisition. And because our stock is valued properly, and because we have a decent market cap, we can make accretive acquisitions. Let me tell you a little bit about our plans right now. So I just mobilized 3 drill rigs to the property. We're just about to embark on a 30,000 meter drill program. And what I want you to take away from this is we have 7 deposits that make up that 138 million ounces of silver equivalent. Now, in between our southern deposit, South Reef, on the top of the page there, and Wolf, it's about 5.5 kilometers of prospectivity. So there was a border in between South Reef and Wolf that we've unified, that we now have 100% interest of. And what you can see on the right-hand side is it's gold and silver in soils. So we've got this 15-kilometer trend. It hasn't been thoroughly explored in between Wolf and South Reef, and there's lots of exploration and expansion potential. On the left-hand side of the page, you've got the right geology, the right prospective rocks. I won't go into too much of the details here, but basically the biggest deposits of the world, they're here because of this red line, and our deposits and our room for growth is tremendous. Again, this is looking at some radiometrics and potassic alteration signature. These are the vectoring tools for us to find more silver mineralization. So my strategy, what are we going to do this year? I'm just going to jump ahead a little bit here. So 30,000 meters of drilling, three goals. Number one, I want to de-risk this asset. So we've done some wide space drilling. We've got an inferred resource. My goal is to tighten up the drilling and have 50% of this project in the indicated category at homestake. And then if you can see those green dots and that pink blob, well, the pink blob is the gold resource at homestake. Those green pierce points, my goal is to step out on strike and at depth and grow the resources. So I have a lot of confidence that 140 million ounce number can grow by 25, 30%, just incrementally around existing deposits. But the real growth is going to come, and this is a good cross-section here, where you can see that we've got big gaps in between deposits. And I believe in the theory of periodicity, repeating patterns. And I think there's going to be more deposits that we come up with in between Wolf, in between South Reef, but also from Wolf going back to Torbrit. So we're in the early days. This area has not seen a lot of exploration relative to some of the northern projects. And again, we've got the cash, we've got the team. And in addition to de-risking, we want to grow, again, around deposits, and then also, can we find another 150 million ounces on this property? This is a look at the resource. A lot of the silver resources are indicated. We've got a strong degree of confidence. The gold resources, we're going to gain that confidence this summer by infilling. And again, I think that the takeaway here is if you want exposure to silver and gold, and you want it in a safe jurisdiction, and you want it at grade, this is the only this is the differentiator, and this is why I made the acquisition. This is why I'm running this company. This is the only company that's got this size of resource at this grade in this location. So again, this is the safe jurisdiction bet here. So we've got a couple minutes for questions. If anyone's got any questions. Yes.
I got two questions. Since when are you CEO?
February 16th, 2020.
Okay. And the next question, what is your relationship with Fury Goldmines?
So Fury Goldmines, and if you go back to when I wasn't the CEO, where's Fury here? So Fury, if you look at the sort of the top of the page, you look at that red line. So Fury sold us 1 million ounces of gold and 18 million ounces of silver. So through that sale, they are now a 33% shareholder of Dolly Varden.
Okay, got it.
And because of that shareholdings, they have 2 representatives on the board.
Was this a district, what they sold? District.
What district?
What they sold to you with the houses?
Sorry, I don't really understand the question.
You said Fury sold gold and silver to you.
Yes. How much?
Where it is. Where's the compound?
Okay, so it's well, we've. Oh, in Beastie's Golden Triangle.
Where's the district?
The Golden Triangle?
Where's the crime?
I think they're asking, it was your neighbor, it was a neighboring project
Yes.
right next door, and they basically, the land packages were next to each other.
Yes, Northwest BC, British Columbia. So the Golden Triangle here. So this is, if you think of Vancouver, this is a 16-hour drive from Vancouver, or a 1.5-hour flight. So Northwest BC. So Fury was focused on, they've got a project in Quebec, so they wanted to focus on Quebec, so we were able to consolidate this area. Any other questions? Yes?
What about permitting?
It's a really good question. So again, I mentioned we're part of this organization called the BC Regional Mining Alliance, and the feedback we've got from government is if you treat the Indigenous communities well and you respect water, you get permits in a timely manner. And if we look at Bruce Jack, which went into production in 2017, I've seen 4 mines be permitted in BC. Ascot just received a permit for bringing the premier mine. So we have, at the stage we are in, we have these 5-year exploration permits. So we're in good standing in terms of permitting. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your time and consideration.